Hello, my name is Mariana, and today this is a reading for Sagittarius. So, Sagittarius, as usual, I'm doing this reading with my own tarot deck. So, the cards that you'll see are from this deck. So, Sagittarius, it seems like you cannot contain your excitement. And I can totally relate to that because I am excited myself. Because by the time that you're watching this, I'm going to be flying to the trip of a lifetime, one that I have been really, really, really just wishing and waiting for, and it's finally here. So I feel like there is something really similar for you today because it feels like you have been growing something almost like this it's like this desire that has been brewing inside of you, and now it's come to a point where you cannot hold it, you cannot contain it. It's like, and you don't even want it, right? It's like you don't want to hold yourself back because everything seems to be so perfect. The timing is perfect. And recently, the magician, if you've seen the recent readings that I posted a few days, and the last one yesterday, the magician card has been really, really prominent, right? And it has been such a mysterious figure because I just cannot penetrate that mystery, right? Those secrets. It seems very uh, t- hard to really get something else, right? But it seems like here the magician, it's like it just cherishes you so much. We're going to get that into that part of your message, but I feel like you're going to know a little bit more concretely, a little bit more visibly what is all about this mystery, right? It's like it's going to become more and more tangible for you. So it all starts because you're just shining, right? I'm seeing you here as this King of Wands. Well, it's the wand suit, which is fire, which is your element, Sagittarius. So this feels like you in your highest potential, right? It's like you are exuding your own nature. It feels like you are just shining your brightest light. I want to say that it's like you are in control of your own nature. You know who you are essentially, but most of all, you cannot contain yourself anymore, right? It's like you have this fire burning inside of you and you want to do something with it. It's like Sagittarius, you being the traveler, the explorer, the adventurer, right? And all of this, excitement that has been building up over time, I want to say, because the Ace of Wands is coming next. So it all started with one spark, right? That initial idea that, what if type of scenario, the contemplation of a possibility, the you know what I often see here with the Ace of Wands, this fully grown tree, but in order for that to happen, it starts with the seed, right? It's like, so the ace, it's at the same time the seed that holds the entire potential of a tree as it is the tree itself, right? The fully grown tree. And I feel like you have been nurturing that feeling inside of you, or that excitement, right? It's wanting to be, literally like this excitement that you have been just brewing, right? It's you have been nurturing yourself. You have been feeding that part in you that is inspired by this idea, or it's like it's very driven by this, right? It's very stimulating, it's very exciting, right? Excitement is the word for this reading, right? You are beyond excited for this idea to finally like come to a point where you can see the growth, right? It's like you can see that seed that started maybe a while ago, because until it comes to this point of the tree, it's like it takes a while, right? It's a process of growth and just nurturing and receiving all it needs. So you have been giving yourself everything to keep this inspiration alive, keep this drive, right? It's like you never let yourself doubt about this. So it feels like it comes full circle in a sense, and it does so in such a brilliant way because the Wheel of Fortune is here. And the Wheel of Fortune also is a card that has been showing up a lot lately. And it's been talking about, well, of course, destiny, right? The traditional meaning associated, well, one among several, talking about like just being in the right place at the right time. So, but I want to say that this feels like, how do you call that? Like when you shoot an arrow, right? And you, Sagittarius, being the centaur, right? It's like when you shoot the arrow, but you know that at some point it's going to get to the thing, whatever it's called. I can't remember the name. It's like the plaque, the the shooting paper, right? The oh my god, what's the name of that thing? I can't remember. But anyways, do you see what I mean? It's like, imagine if this was like this goal, right? That you need to reach like right at the center with your intention, with your vision, with your drive, with your desire, right? And what is going to take you there is it's your excitement. Your excitement has been building up, and it's almost like, from shooting this arrow, even though it's the wand, right? But I'm just thinking of the centaur, right? The symbol that represents Sagittarius. So in shooting that arrow, so in planting that seed, you could also use this analogy, right? With a tree and planting that seed, it takes time so that you get to the purpose, right? So that you get to the destiny, so that you get to, it was all about destiny and destination in the Scorpio reading. And here it feels like you arrive. At least you're so excited because finally you understand like this whole process from beginning to end. That's the reason why I'm saying it's like it comes full circle because you understand that this Ace of Wands, it's at the same time, right? It's two things at the same time. It's the seed, but also the fully grown tree. So it's almost like the initial spark that is, taking you exactly where you need to be. And here is where the magician enters the scene. So the magician here is a very peculiar creature, right? It's coming through as almost like this Willy Wonka type of vibe, right? A very I can't I can't pronounce that word. I'm hearing, I hope I say this right, flamboyant. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but anyways, it's like a very like a how do you say this? Like a very fancy, very stereotypical type of magician, right? It's like it has, the hat and those clothes and like the posture, right? It's coming through as like this host or this presenter, right? It's like the one who is going to introduce you to your destiny in a sense, right? It's like now that finally you've arrived, it's like you meet this host, right? Which feels very magical. It feels very out there. It feels very otherworldly, and yet it feels like a father figure, to be honest, because it's almost like maybe the magical father figure that you wish you had, because you're showing up here as a very innocent lamb, right? I'm seeing like this lamb that is so innocent. It's so naive, right? With the page of cups. It's like you've never seen a creature like this, a very it's like they know how to hold themselves, right? It's like they have something about their confidence or their posture or something like that, that it's just so inspiring, right? It's just like just contributing for you to just like amp up even more your own excitement. So, maybe that's also the reason why the Ace of Wands is here coming full circle, right? Being the seed and also the fully grown tree. Because if you're showing up as the king here first, and then you're showing up here as the page, it's almost like there is this, it's like, it's not it's not like you are bipolar or anything like that. It's just that at some point, maybe initially before meeting this one, before arriving, it's like you're just so happy that you finally don't have to contain yourself anymore. It's like you get to express yourself, right? It's like you it's like you have space, right? You have room to express everything that you're feeling, especially the excitement, the joy, perhaps. um but at the same time, maybe this is a surprise, right? It's like you're not expecting the arrival of such like this again, it's like this character just leaves me out of words. It's just so Willy Wonka type of a figure, right? It's like it's hard to describe. It's like it's easier to see it. It's like once you see it, it's like you'll understand what I'm talking about. And in comparison, right? By contrast, it's like you feel such a kid, right? And I want to say that this is what they are so good at. It's like it's almost like they have like this language to reach you where you are, right? In the level of development. And I don't want to say that you are underdeveloped in terms of your emotion. On the contrary, showing up as the Page of Cups, it feels like you're, a child, right? It's like you're so open to anything magical, right? That you're not going to be scared by this figure or intimidated or, let down by anything that this one is going to show you. It feels like it's almost like you've hit a mark, right? Because you've come full circle with this exciting thing that you were chasing, that you wanted, that you desire, right? Um, it's like hitting this mark, right? Just like shooting that arrow and hitting the target. That was the word that I was looking for. Hitting the target. It seems like it's like a bell goes off, or there's some sort of signal that you know, it's just like Willy Wonka, right? It's like it's out of this world, right? It's very, it just pops out of nowhere. This is how I'm seeing the arrival of this one. So for you, it feels very enchanting, right? It makes you feel like a child again. And that's going back to what I was going to say. So this is where this magician is so good. It's like they are really good in being able to speak to you in a way that you're not going to be overwhelmed. And yet, it's like it's so compelling, it's so enticing. It's like you're just wide eyed and like just in awe with this creature, right? It's like you just want to stare at it, right? And so what they are saying to you and your reaction is like, I feel like a child again. And what they are saying is good because this is supposed to reach your inner child, right? So it is already fulfilling its goal, right? So your excitement reaches a point that in expressing it, it really, it's like it's going to fulfill some sort of desire that it's not just yours. And maybe that's the reason why it's been like a long time coming, right? Maybe you wish this since you were a kid and you didn't even know, right? That it would fulfill you in such a way, right? So it's almost like meeting a character that you saw, in cartoons when you were a child, right? It's almost like, I'm just going to give this example because I think it's easier. There are people that, when they were kids, they just loved the Disney movies and, the characters and all of that. And once they get to go to the Disney World, right? The Disneyland, or however you want to see that whole environment, it's like their inner child's, are just like their inner child. It's just like smiling and dancing and, so happy, so excited. I have a friend that is just like that. And, she's my age. So, and, every time that she goes there, it's like she's just being her natural self, right? Her uninhibited, oh, I said that correctly, uninhibited self, right? So this is where I feel like you are at the moment. Oh, and now I'm just remembering she is a Sagittarius. So, yeah, okay, that makes sense. So, Sagittarius, it seems like you are so happy because you're meeting a creature that is just taking you back to your own inner child, right? So it's just connecting you to this freedom of being a child, right? And smiling like it's like you don't have to worry about, paying bills or, any responsibility of an adult. It's like, so that's really different from this perception, right? It's like in this one you were it's like you had a job in a sense, right? To nourish this idea, to it's like to give love to this project, to this inspiration, to it's like you needed to tend to the growth of the tree, right? But here, it's like you simply get to enjoy and sit down because this is what this magician is saying. It's like, are you ready for the show? So take a seat. And I know that the Four of Pentacles not necessarily says that, but I'm just saying, like, um, when you are about to receive news, like really, really great news, and you're speaking with somebody through the phone, and they're about to say something that might really change your perception of things, right? It's like it really spins the wheel for you. And the first thing that they say, before giving the whole announcement, it's like they say, okay, are you standing? Because if you're standing, just, take a seat because I think it's going to be best for you. This is almost what I'm hearing from the magician, right? It's like they're looking at you and they see how pure, how innocent, how naive, how enchanted you are, right? With this whole interaction. And they're just saying, okay, so now take a seat because it's like you're going to be more grounded in that sense. And I want to say, it's just the beginning of this adventure. But it's fascinating because the Nine of Pentacles ending this part of the reading, it's talking about your path, Sagittarius, because it's almost like it's so bizarre because this Nine of Pentacles has a little bit of the Nine of Cups in it, so a wish fulfillment, but it's the Pentacle suit. And that's the reason why I feel like you have to take a seat before, because it's like a wish coming true, not just as a possibility, not just as a fantastical creature or, an idol that is, popping up in front of you and, becoming like a real character. It is like your dream in matter, right? It's like in physical matter. It's like it's taking shape. It's not just a possibility anymore, right? It's so interesting because I feel like it really, that's the reason why you need to take a seat, right? I'm just, because it's like you're going to lean backwards, right? It's like you're saying, but I thought that you were going to introduce me to Willy Wonka's world, right? It's like your fantastic chocolate factory and all of that. Um, but instead, this magician shows your story, your path, your trajectory towards your independence, your sovereignty. And so this is where it really it becomes a lot more real than what you were expecting, because it's almost like here maybe you didn't have any expectation. At least, you had no idea that this magician would show up. It's like you had no idea that hitting this mark, hitting this target with your diligent work, right? With your continuous work towards this growth of this desire, right? It's like you never abandon that. That's the reason why it really, it's like it just kicks off something that triggers this magician to show up. And when he does, it's going to blow your mind in a way that it's like you're going to see your own story of becoming independent. It's almost like they're going to take you by the hand and say, okay, listen, you are on the path of independence, you are on the path of sovereignty. So it's like it's almost like talking to your inner child and taking that inner child by the hand, right? In a very magical way, but knowing that you need to be grounded first. And that's the reason why maybe you need to take a seat, right? So take a seat, just ground yourself, feel like you are steady enough so that you can see this. It's almost like a vision of almost like these future steps, right? But it's like one that you're going to walk towards your independence, towards your sovereignty. And it's interesting because the bottom of the deck here is the Four of Cups. So another four, which I want to say that it's going to help you stabilize, right? Like, especially emotionally, right? It's going to bring this emotional stability, which I want to say it's very useful because maybe you don't know this about yourself, Sagittarius. At least you don't know this right now about your inner child. Not how fragile it is, but how soft, right? It's almost like this soft pearl, right? It needs grounding, right? It needs to be it's like to it's almost like I'm seeing these four corners as like, the four pillars of kind of like structure that is going to hold like this pillow, right? So maybe this is like guidance for you, right? It's like in order for your inner child to really just observe this path of independence, right? It's like your inner child is going to grow, your inner child is going to mature, right? But knowing that it is a dream come true, even for them, right? Which is going to, like, as a result, it's going to bring also like emotional stability, right? Or maybe this is guidance for all of this to be made or to be crossed through, right? Passed through or observed, sensed in stability, right? In this feeling of groundedness, right? Physically and emotionally. So yeah, it's beautiful. It's just a little bit surprising, I want to say, right? Because it's your story that the magician is telling, and maybe you didn't expect that. So, and I want to say that it's like it's not to make you hesitate. As I said, it's almost like it's so fulfilling, right? It's like the Nine of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles together. It's just it is a dream come true, but it is your inner child's dream come true, right? And the magician here is just making it all more glamorous, more magical, more fascinating, right? More enchanting, so that your inner child can be um uh it's like not awakened, but can be maybe targeted, right? Maybe this is what triggers this awakening of your inner child, right? It's like the appearance of this very flamboyant creature, right? I hope that makes sense. So, Sagittarius, I am going to pull more cards for you to see where this wants to go next. And also, I'm going to pull from the astrological runes in the extended reading. So, if you want to join me there, I'll be very happy to see you. You can find link down below. If not, I'll see you next time. Bye.